African Union Commission, esteemed African Union commissioners, representatives of the regional economic communities, representatives of our development partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great joy that I set foot in this splendid, verdant city of Kampala, which has been decked out in all its colors to host this important African Union extraordinary summit to assess the situation of agriculture in our continent. I'm particularly pleased to address to His Excellency Ruto and Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, to the government and the brotherly people of Uganda, my best wishes for the year 2025 and my warm thanks for the quality of the welcome marked by brotherhood and the special attention, and even more for all the efforts made to ensure the best conditions for success in the organization of this summit. Holding a summit on agriculture in Africa in Kampala is the right thing to do. A wonderful sign of recognition of your total commitment, President Museveni, to farmers and headers. You yourself are a farmer. You are also a champion of transforming agriculture into a powerful lever for wealth creation for the people of Africa. Excellency, ending my tenure in African Union, I think I should come here to learn farming from your experience. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Africa is proud to have more than 60% of its population young. It is also proud to have 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land, water and forest resources that place it at the forefront of the world. This is why it is deeply questioned about its current paradoxical food security situation. Hunger still kills in Africa. The profound disaffection between the land and African youth, the disaffection of these young people with agriculture and the rural world, their break with the ancestral world toward urban uncertainties and perilous immigration, all these increase our existential drama. Who do we hold responsible for such phenomena? Not on the youth, for sure, but on our systems that have failed to promote efficient strategies that generate hope and prosperity in our lands. Such concerns have been yours, have been ours. You thus opted for an institutional solution through CADEP, adopted by the Assembly of the Union in 2003 in Maputo, Mozambique. This ambitious program has been implemented since 2014 within the framework of the Malabo Declaration. The various biannual evaluations of the commitments made by member states initiated in 2017 under this declaration certainly show progress toward achieving the set objectives, but at an unsatisfactory pace of progress. This is why I would like to welcome the preparatory work undertaken by the African Union Commission, ODA-NEPAD, the regional economic communities and experts of our member state, as well as our technical and financial partners in preparing the post-Malabo Declaration, or what will be known as the Kampala Declaration, submitted here today for your approval. It symbolizes The sum total of all the efforts made upstream in identifying all the negative factors that lie at the root of the low rate of the attainment of our set objectives for agriculture sector on the continent. Excellences, Monsieur le Président, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs les chefs d'État, de gouvernement et de délégation, Mesdames, Messieurs, il est clair aujourd'hui.
It is clear today that despite all these commendable efforts, the food and nutrition security situation in Africa has not structurally changed. Hundreds of millions of Africans continue to suffer in total despair from famine. They languish in destitution and extreme nutritional fragility. Without indulging in self-flagellation, we cannot be truly proud of our results. Our conscience would revolt against us. To face this major challenge courageously is our greatest task of the moment. Clearly, many factors could explain this shocking dichotomy between our immeasurable potential and the state of the poignant needs of our peoples in terms of food and nutrition, in the face of which all the discourse on food sovereignty loses its credibility. Among these factors are those linked to external events, which of course are beyond our control. I refer to the wars outside and inside Africa, like the Russia-Ukraine war, the Sudanese conflict in which 30 million people are living in a humanitarian tragedy. We must also mention the pandemics, natural disasters, recurring droughts and floods, and other El Nino phenomena. Thus, climate change continues to threaten our food systems and expose us to very serious risks of famine and undernourishment in many regions of the continent. On the other hand, some factors are directly of our making. Here is a striking example. The Maputo Summit of 2003 had coupled the establishment of the Comprehensive Agricultural Development Program with the important decision requesting member states to devote 10% of their annual budget to agriculture. The level of implementation of the decision has not been assessed. Similarly, it will be relevant to ask the questions, that is the report on the implementation of the Malabo Declaration and the biennial reviews have not been submitted. The problem is getting dangerously worse. Not only is the disaffection for manual agricultural work deepening, but rural exodus and immigration are widening the gap. The projection of UN Habitat indicates that in 2030, that is in 5 years' time, Africa will have 824 million city dwellers, or that is 48.4% of its population. In the absence of drastic measures to stabilize populations and ensure prosperity in rural areas, the phenomenon will inevitably worsen and suffocate cities with all the attendant risks of destabilization. Faced with these challenges, what can be done? First, we must make agriculture a real priority sector. We must put the hoe in the museum and correlatively invest in the acquisition of appropriate means of agricultural production. I'm here referring to mechanization, digitalization, enrichment of soil, and so on, to be used in compliance with environmental balances and with a constant concern for adaptation to climate change. To do this, we must find the necessary additional resources. Pending access to such funding, we have the imperative duty to protect our arable lands from being taken over by external powers, which since the surge in food prices in 2008 have considered Africa as the last agricultural frontier of the world. Although water is unevenly distributed across the continent, as it has been so rightly said by President Museveni, the practice of irrigation currently capped at only 6% of arable land deserves to be included in the practices for the purpose of improving soil health in addition to the use of agricultural inputs. In this respect, I wish to stress the crucial role of the private sector in the promotion of agro-industry, as well as our great expectation from the fallout of the operationalization of the Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the immensity of the task that awaits us, the measure of which is well grasped in the Kampala Declaration and more specifically in the new strategy and in the new 10-year plan of action to 2026-2035, afford me the opportunity to commend the remarkable work accomplished by the Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Environment Department under the leadership of Commissioner Mrs. Josefa Sako, to whom I pay deserved tribute. In the same dynamics, we are all called upon to face all the challenges with perseverance and assurance, to take them up with an enthusiastic passion that definitively brings out of the baptismal font the Africa we want. This Africa will rest on the foundation of the victory to be won on the agricultural front, the keystone of any development process. I thank you for your kind attention.
Merci beaucoup, mon chef.
Thank you very much, boss, for your very brilliant statement.